You know what's absolutely fascinating? Right now, as you're watching this, your imagination is creating your tomorrow. Not someday, not eventually, but literally right now. Every single thought you're imagining about your future, every scenario you're playing in your mind, every dream you're entertaining or nightmare you're rehearsing, it's all being registered by the universe as your official order for what's coming next. But here's the part that will blow your mind. Most people are using their imagination backwards. They're accidentally ordering chaos, struggle, and disappointment because nobody ever taught them how to discipline their imagination. They think imagination is just daydreaming, just fantasy, just something you do when you're bored. But what if I told you that disciplined imagination is the most powerful creative force in the universe? And what if I told you that once you learn to harness it, you can literally design your life like an architect designs a building? Now, I know what you're thinking. Here we go again. Another person telling me to just visualize and everything will magically appear. But stick with me because what I'm about to share isn't about wishing really hard or making vision boards. This is about understanding the scientific and spiritual mechanics of how imagination actually works when it's properly directed, when it's disciplined, when it's used with precision and purpose. And before you worry that this is going to be one of those marathon videos that takes forever to get to the point, let me assure you, we keep things short, powerful, and immediately actionable here. No fluff, no filler, just pure wisdom that you can start using today to reshape your reality from the inside out. Let me ask you something personal. When you lay in bed at night, what scenes are playing in your mind? Are you replaying the day's frustrations? Are you imagining worst-case scenarios for tomorrow? Are you rehearsing conversations where people reject you, disappoint you, or let you down? Because if you are, you're not alone. Most people use their imagination like a horror movie director, constantly creating scenes of what could go wrong, what they can't have, and what they're afraid of. Then they wonder why their life feels like a series of problems and disappointments. The truth is, your imagination is always working. It never takes a break. Right now, even as I'm speaking to you, your mind is creating images, scenarios, and possibilities. The question isn't whether you're using your imagination. The question is whether you're directing it or letting it run wild like an unruly child with a box of crayons and white walls. Here's what most people don't understand about imagination. It's not separate from reality. It's the workshop where reality gets built. Everything you see in your physical world started as an image in someone's imagination. The phone you're holding, the building you're in, the clothes you're wearing, even the words I'm speaking right now. They all began as mental pictures before they became physical things. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what you imagine and what you experience. When you vividly imagine something, your brain fires the same neural pathways as if it were actually happening. That's why you can watch a scary movie and your heart races even though you know it's not real. Your nervous system responds to imagined threats the same way it responds to actual ones. This isn't mystical thinking. This is neuroscience. And once you understand this principle, you realize that every time you imagine something vividly, you're literally programming your subconscious mind, your nervous system, and your energetic field to expect and attract that experience. So when you constantly imagine failure, rejection, or lack, you're essentially training your entire being to recognize and create those conditions. But when you discipline your imagination to consistently create pictures of success, love, and abundance, you're programming yourself for those realities instead. Now, let's talk about what disciplined imagination actually means, because there's a huge difference between wishful thinking and creative visualization. Wishful thinking is hoping something will happen while secretly doubting it ever will. It's like saying, "Wouldn't it be nice if," while your inner voice whispers, "But that'll never happen to me." Disciplined imagination, on the other hand, is the deliberate, consistent, and emotionally charged practice of creating specific mental images of your desired outcomes and living in those images until they become more real to you than your current circumstances. Let me give you a perfect example of how this works. Think about when you're really excited about something you're looking forward to. Maybe it's a vacation you've planned, or a date with someone special, or a job interview for your dream position. Notice how you naturally start imagining it. You see yourself on the beach, you picture the conversation going perfectly. You imagine walking into that office feeling confident and prepared. And notice how those mental images make you feel. Excited, happy, anticipatory. That feeling is proof that your imagination is working on your nervous system, preparing your entire being for the experience you're mentally rehearsing. Now imagine if you could do that intentionally, consistently, and strategically for every area of your life you want to improve. That's disciplined imagination. It's taking control of your mental movie projector instead of letting it run random films all day long. Here's something that will change how you think about daydreaming forever. Most people believe they're just passing time when they imagine things, but you're actually time traveling. When you imagine your future self living the life you desire, you're not just fantasizing, you're actually connecting with a version of yourself that already exists in the quantum field of possibilities. Scientists call it quantum superposition, the idea that all possible futures exist simultaneously until consciousness collapses them into physical reality through observation and expectation. Every time you imagine with focused attention and genuine emotion, you're selecting which possible future you want to experience. You're literally voting for your reality with your mental images. But here's the part that trips most people up. The imagination must be disciplined. It must be intentional. Random daydreaming doesn't create anything because it lacks the focused attention and emotional intensity required to impress the subconscious mind. Think of your imagination like a laser. Light scattered is just light, but light focused becomes powerful enough to cut through steel. Your imagination scattered is just wishful thinking, but your imagination focused becomes a force that can reshape reality itself. So how do you discipline your imagination? How do you transform it from a random movie projector into a precise reality creation tool? It starts with awareness. For the next 3 days, I want you to pay attention to what you're imagining throughout the day. Notice when your mind wanders into worry, fear, or limitation. Notice when you catch yourself rehearsing negative scenarios or replaying painful memories. Don't judge these thoughts, just observe them, because you can't change what you're not aware of, and most people are completely unconscious of the mental movies they're playing all day long. They're accidentally creating their future problems through undisciplined imagination while wondering why their life keeps getting more difficult. Once you become aware of your imagination patterns, you can begin to redirect them. When you catch yourself imagining something you don't want, gently stop the mental movie and consciously create a new scene. Instead of imagining the job interview going wrong, see it going perfectly. Instead of picturing your bank account empty, visualize it growing. Instead of rehearsing arguments with your partner, imagine loving conversations and deeper connection. This isn't denial of reality, this is direction of reality. You're not pretending problems don't exist. You're choosing to use your imagination to create solutions instead of amplifying difficulties. Every time you redirect your imagination from limitation to possibility, you're literally rewiring your brain for success instead of struggle. Let me share something that most manifestation teachers don't tell you about imagination. It's not enough to just see the end result. You must also imagine the journey. If you want to be wealthy, don't just imagine having money in the bank. Imagine yourself making wise financial decisions. Imagine yourself saying no to impulse purchases. Imagine yourself creating multiple income streams. Imagine yourself feeling abundant and generous. When you imagine the character traits and daily habits that create wealth, you're programming your subconscious to develop those qualities naturally. The same principle applies to any goal. Want better health? Don't just imagine being fit. Imagine yourself choosing healthy foods, enjoying exercise, feeling energetic and strong. Want better relationships? Don't just imagine being loved. Imagine yourself being loving, patient, understanding, and emotionally intelligent. This is what I call process visualization, and it's infinitely more powerful than outcome visualization alone because it programs you to become the person who naturally creates those outcomes. Here's where it gets really exciting. When you practice disciplined imagination consistently, something magical starts to happen. Your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your inner world. Opportunities appear seemingly out of nowhere. People show up at exactly the right time. Resources become available just when you need them. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. This isn't luck. This isn't coincidence. This is the natural result of aligning your imagination with your desired outcomes. When you consistently imagine something with clarity and emotion, you create what scientists call a morphic field, an energetic blueprint that attracts corresponding experiences from the quantum field of infinite possibilities. But let me warn you about something that derails most people who start practicing disciplined imagination. They get impatient. They imagine their desired life for a few days or weeks, and when they don't see immediate physical results, they conclude it doesn't work and go back to their old patterns of worry and limitation. But disciplined imagination is like planting a garden. You don't plant seeds today and expect to harvest vegetables tomorrow. There's a gestation period, a time when things are growing beneath the surface before they become visible. Your job isn't to watch the ground impatiently, demanding to see sprouts immediately. Your job is to keep watering the seeds with consistent, disciplined imagination while trusting the natural process of growth and manifestation. Here's a powerful technique I want you to try tonight. It's called the evening review and future preview. Right before you go to sleep, when your subconscious mind is most receptive, spend 5 minutes reviewing your day. But don't just replay what happened, reimagine it the way you wish it had gone. If you had a difficult conversation, mentally replay it going smoothly. If you felt insecure about something, reimagine feeling confident and capable. This practice literally rewrites your emotional memory and releases any negative impressions from the day. Then spend another 5 minutes previewing tomorrow, but not just planning it, imagining it going beautifully. See yourself waking up feeling great, handling every situation with wisdom and grace, accomplishing your goals with ease, and ending the day feeling fulfilled and grateful. This simple practice alone can transform your life because you're programming your subconscious mind every night with positive expectations instead of worries and anxieties. The power of disciplined imagination extends far beyond personal achievement. When you imagine a better world, a more loving humanity, a planet filled with peace and abundance, you're actually contributing to the collective consciousness that creates those possibilities. Your imagination doesn't just affect your personal reality, it ripples out into the shared reality we all create together. This is why it's so important to guard your imagination carefully. Every time you imagine disaster, conflict, or scarcity, you're adding to the collective fear that manifests those experiences in the world. But every time you imagine harmony, prosperity, and love, you're contributing to the collective hope that brings those realities into existence. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. Some of you are thinking, this all sounds wonderful, but I've tried visualization before and it didn't work. Let me tell you why that probably happened. Most people practice undisciplined imagination. They visualize for 5 minutes once in a while, usually when they're feeling desperate, and they do it with doubt, fear, or desperation underlying their images. That's like trying to plant seeds in concrete during a hurricane. The conditions aren't right for growth. Disciplined imagination requires 3 essential elements: clarity, consistency, and feeling. Clarity means your images must be specific and detailed, not vague or general. Instead of imagining being successful, see yourself in your specific dream office, wearing your exact ideal clothes, having the precise conversations you want to have, feeling the exact emotions of achievement. Consistency means you must practice daily, preferably at the same time each day, until it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition, and sporadic visualization is like sporadic exercise. It doesn't create lasting change. And feeling is the most crucial element, because emotion is the language your subconscious understands. You must feel the joy, gratitude, excitement, and satisfaction of your imagined reality as if it were already true. Without emotion, visualization is just mental entertainment. With emotion, it becomes the programming language of your destiny. Here's a truth that might surprise you. The universe doesn't respond to your need, it responds to your imagination. You can need something desperately for years and never receive it if you're imagining lack, limitation, and disappointment. But you can desire something lightly and receive it quickly if you're imagining abundance, possibility, and fulfillment. This is why desperate people often push away the very things they need most. Their imagination is focused on the absence of what they want rather than the presence of it. Their mental movies are filled with scenes of continued struggle rather than visions of breakthrough and success. If you want to master disciplined imagination, you must learn to imagine from the end. Instead of imagining yourself trying to get what you want, imagine yourself already having it. Instead of seeing yourself seeking love, see yourself being loved. Instead of picturing yourself attempting to build wealth, see yourself managing abundance. This shift from seeking to having, from trying to being, from wanting to experiencing, is the difference between imagination that creates and imagination that merely entertains. Let me give you a practical framework for developing disciplined imagination that you can start using immediately. I call it the daily design practice. Every morning, before you check your phone or engage with the external world, spend 10 minutes consciously designing your day through imagination. See yourself moving through your day with confidence, wisdom, and joy. Imagine every interaction going smoothly, every challenge being met with creative solutions, every opportunity being recognized and embraced. Don't just hope your day goes well. Deliberately imagine it going well with specific, detailed mental pictures. Throughout the day, whenever you catch your mind wandering into worry or limitation, gently redirect it back to positive possibilities. This isn't about forcing fake positivity. It's about choosing which thoughts deserve your attention and which ones need to be lovingly but firmly dismissed. Before bed, spend another 10 minutes imagining your ideal future. See yourself living the life you truly desire, not just in terms of external circumstances, but in terms of how you feel, how you show up in the world, and how you impact others. Make these images as vivid and emotionally engaging as possible. The more real you can make your imagined future feel, the more quickly it will manifest in your physical experience. Remember, disciplined imagination is not about controlling every detail of how your dreams manifest. It's about consistently aligning your inner world with your desired outcomes and trusting the universe to orchestrate the perfect path. Sometimes your dreams will manifest exactly as you imagined them. Sometimes they'll manifest in ways that are even better than you could have conceived. But they will manifest if you maintain the discipline to keep your imagination focused on possibilities rather than problems. Here's something beautiful about disciplined imagination. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, positive visualization isn't something you have to remember to do. It's simply how your mind operates. You automatically imagine the best possible outcomes instead of automatically worrying about worst-case scenarios. Your imagination becomes your ally instead of your enemy, your greatest asset instead of your biggest obstacle. And as your imagination becomes more disciplined, your life becomes more magical. Not because magic suddenly enters your world, but because you finally recognize the magic that was always there, waiting for your attention, your intention, and your disciplined imagination to bring it forth. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, remember this. Your imagination is the workshop where tomorrow's reality is being constructed right now. You can let it run wild, creating random and often chaotic futures, or you can take the reins and consciously design the life you truly want to live. The choice, as always, is yours. But the power to transform your entire existence through disciplined imagination, that's already within you, waiting to be awakened, waiting to be directed, waiting to create wonders beyond your wildest dreams. Sweet dreams. And remember, in the realm of disciplined imagination, you are both the artist and the masterpiece, the dreamer and the dream made manifest.